Hello everyone and welcome back to Abundantly Minimal. Today we are going to be talking about financial guilt, which is something that can hold a lot of people back from their decluttering. And I want to share 3 specific secrets, if you will. They're a different way of framing things and thinking about our belongings that we might feel financial guilt about, so we can overcome it. We can either fall back in love with some of these items, feel the peace of mind to let them go, and in general, just stop feeling guilty for previous purchases that we've made. Let's jump right in. Why do we feel financial guilt in the first place? Well, it likely stems from the fact that we either spent a large amount of money, or it doesn't even necessarily have to be a large amount of money. It might just be that you didn't end up getting the perceived value out of the item that you thought you would. So this can vary from something that you tried. Let's say at the grocery store, you try a new product and you don't like it. You might feel a little financial guilt. Oh, why did I buy that? And you're posed with a dilemma of how you respond. And of course, that's a lower tier item. You might also purchase something large that you feel buyer's remorse about that was a very expensive purchase. Of course, this could range from our everyday household items, appliances, even up to someone's car or home. And in general, I think ideally we don't want to feel guilt while we are trying to declutter and live our lives. I want us to be able to find the value in what we've purchased and also encourage us to make more intentional purchases in the future. But what do you do if you're in a situation where you're feeling this financial guilt? Let's talk about some ideas. The first idea is to do a little bit of math. And we're going to make a very simple calculation here with any item that you're stuck on. Think about what the price was and what kind of value you'd like to get out of the item. I think this is easiest to explain with an example. Let's say you paid $20 for a shirt and you've never worn it, or maybe you just wore it once. Since you maybe have never worn that shirt, or let's say wore it once just for easier math, that shirt cost you $20 to wear it that one time. That might feel like you didn't get the full value out of it and it might feel overpriced to you. However, if you wear that shirt a second time, that was $20, now you have gotten 2 wears out of the shirt for $10 each. So it's starting to sound a little bit better. Let's say you wear it a total of 4 times. Now each time you've worn the shirt, it costs you $5. Maybe you wear it 10 times. Now each time you wore it, it costs $2. And maybe going down to 20 times, each time you wore the shirt, maybe it was $1. Now this particular trick's not going to work for everyone. Some people won't want to be bothered by thinking about the math in this. But if this idea does resonate you could set a use goal on whatever the item is to say, okay, I have gotten enough value out of this that I no longer feel guilty. That's going to be completely subjective based upon the purchase price, and your own personal life. But I find this is a great way to combat some of those feelings that we might experience feeling like we never fully utilized an item. So I encourage you to give that a try, and let's just keep using our shirt example here. If you do have this shirt that you're not wearing, maybe you make a little, post-it somewhere or a little goal somewhere. Obviously keep it, pretty low key, but keep track of those things, and then perhaps after you have worn it a few more times, you either decide, hey, you know what, it's just not worth wearing it. I don't love wearing it. And you decide to let it go. Or you decide, you know what, I actually like this better than I thought I did, and I'm going to keep wearing it as I want to more regularly. So I think that can be a helpful numeric approach for any of my logic-based people. But I've got some other approaches too if you don't like that one. Secret number 2 to overcome financial guilt is to let go of the visual reminder. So you might be thinking, wait, does that just mean let go of it? But I feel guilty, that's why I'm not letting go of it. Let me explain here. If we're thinking about something we want to declutter, chances are that is a physical item in our space. And we feel buyer's remorse for purchasing that, or that we haven't gotten the value out of it that we want. However, in reflecting about this topic, I was thinking that there are definitely examples in my life, even as a fairly frugal person, where I have had buyer's remorse that weren't a physical item. Have you ever gone to a restaurant where you were dissatisfied with your meal and wish you hadn't gone, or at least wished you ordered something different? That's definitely happened to me. Have you ever traveled to a certain location and you either feel like you overpaid on the type of lodging or transportation or the flight, or how you got there, or maybe that the destination just didn't live up to the hype? You thought that certain activities were a waste of your time. I've experienced that as well. I love travel, and I've never outwardly regretted an entire destination or entire trip, but there have certainly been changes I would have made if I was rebooking the trip, and those costs can certainly add up. Any consumable items maybe that you tried out, let's say you tried out a certain body care product and it didn't end up working, and you used it up or it's since expired. We make mistakes all the time when we're making purchases. Maybe you had some sort of experience that just wasn't worth it. There was a movie you went to or a concert and you just didn't like it. You were so happy to be home. There's so many different financial mistakes we make if we really stop to think about it. But it's a lot easier to forget the financial mistakes we've made from items that are not related to stuff. That being said, my point of bringing this up is not that you start feeling bad about all those other non-physical stuff related mistakes you've made with your finances, but to think, I've moved on from those. I haven't been thinking about those as much because there wasn't a clear memento or item in my space reminding me, hey, remember when you made that mistake? So maybe something we can learn from this is to let go of those physical items that have that visual reminder, to move those out of our space, to finally donate them, because we know that these other mistakes we've made, we've moved on from because they're no longer around. I know that one's very mind focused, but I think that can be a powerful tool in allowing ourselves or giving ourselves permission to let go of some of those purchases we've made where we have the physical item still. The last secret is definitely one of the most simple and loosely connects to things we've talked about earlier in the video, and that is to put it to the test. I always advocate for try it out. If you are actually using it, that action is going to provide clarity. Because one of two things happens. Either you get excited about it again because you forgot how cool it was or how it could potentially be useful in your life, because life is busy. It takes effort and time to get used to something new that we brought into our space. Or you use it and you realize, this isn't for me. It's either too labor intensive, it's too time consuming, it's not the outcome I was hoping for, it just doesn't work with me or doesn't look right. That's fine. We have to try things out to realize sometimes if it's worth it. I've also found that if I'm not willing to actually try something, there's no point in keeping it. With any of these, I always encourage you to pass it on to someone else in your life if there's someone who has interest in it. You could always try reselling items. I'll leave some links below for tips about how to sell your items, as well as then donation can be often the easiest or most time-effective option to let something go. I thought also I could give a few examples of different, not really financial guilt pieces, but just some ideas of mindset related to financial guilt in this video, just to make it more concrete. Actually, the shirt I'm wearing, this is the first time I'm wearing this shirt. I'll keep this longer story as short as possible. I love thrift shopping, and sometimes, I overbuy a little bit. In this particular case, when I bought this shirt, I had purchased several formal dresses from the thrift shop because there was a wedding coming up and my dress I had been wearing in the past no longer fit. So I was looking for them. This particular store does not have fitting rooms, so they're not my first choice of thrift shop, but I needed the dress and I had waited a little bit last minute, so I ended up purchasing 5 dresses to try on. 2 of them were awesome that I kept. Returned the other ones, but they don't do a full return policy. It's an exchange policy. So then I had shopping credit. But, sorry, the story has a lot of twists and turns. Turns out that every Monday at this location, everything in the store is half price. So I did my exchange. You only have 2 weeks to make the exchange. I went in on a Monday. So I think I had about $30 of credit at the thrift shop, but that was going to expire I think either that week or very soon. So I ended up buying essentially $60 worth of thrifted items because everything was half price, since I didn't want to lose out on my credit. So long story short, this was one of those shirts I bought. And I kind of looked at it, I was like, that could work. And a few of the items I did have to then return, for the next or exchange in another phase. It gets a little chaotic after a while. But in that chaos of, or just with all the new items coming in at once there, I didn't give each item the proper time to get used to it, try it out, and it just kind of hung out in the closet. So I figured, this is a shirt I know I haven't worn. Why not try it out in the video? And this is an example. I put it to the test, and turns out I actually really like it. I think it feels very comfortable and hopefully looks decent on camera. I'm never, super fashion forward here. But you could also think about it from the perspective of, let's say I wanted to get that value out of it doing the mathematical calculations. I can't tell you exactly how much this is. I'm going to guess this was between $2 and $3 with the half price discount, since normally the shirts seem to be about $4 to $5, maybe $4 to $6. So for me, at that rate, I feel like it would be a success as long as I wear it, maybe 4 to 6 times. If I'm thinking about, 50 cents per wear, something like that. But again, this is a different cost bracket because it was such an affordable option when I purchased it. So that's an example of how we can piece these things together with an example piece of clothing. And then also, I do a terrible job if I have a nice beverage of drinking it while I'm filming. I just forget about it. But this is a cranberry raspberry loose leaf tea. It's been open for a little while, but it was a gift, so I don't have any financial guilt with it. But it's just been sitting around the tea drawer, so I'm trying to make more of an effort of testing it out. If there was a tea that I didn't like, there's no harm in giving that to someone else who likes tea, or, if it's just going to go to waste, or maybe it's been there too long. If you need to throw it away, it is what it is. We don't need to feel immensely guilty and hold on to these things just like if we were, a storage unit or a garbage dump. Our homes and spaces don't need to be like that. So anyway, those are a couple just very random examples that can hopefully help you on your journey to declutter, especially if you're getting stuck with financial guilt. If you are new around here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right up here so you don't miss out on any of the decluttering and minimalism inspired videos. And you can feel free to check out some other related videos you might like right here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.